Empower People works for disadvantaged women who are victims or potential victims of violence, including domestic violence, honor crimes, killing and trafficking or other type of slavery, and provides them shelter, proper counseling, legal support and other help required. The community work involves creating awareness and conducting livelihood programs.
Hello, we welcome you all to the fourth episode of the Society Talk and Psych Talk, in which we have previously talked about mental illnesses, mental psychological disorders, mental health. So this time we have brought the question, what is normal? And ये question, ये सवाल उतना ही important है जितना हम अपने आप से पूछें या आसपास पूछें, जितना हमें अंडरस्टैंडिंग उतनी बेहतर होगी हमारी अंडरस्टैंडिंग, जितना अच्छे से हम ये सवाल समझ पाएं. और इतना इट्स नॉट दैट क्लियर और इट्स नॉट दैट डिस्टिंक्ट what is normal and what is abnormal. So that's why we have brought to you this session, and in this session you will be entertained and be informed by me, Sumati, and also with me we have Shivani, who is also a student and a person pursuing masters in psychology. So yeah, over to you, Shivani.
Yeah, thank you, Sumati. Welcome everybody. So this is a very vague concept. It's vague to a lot of us. When we come across some individual जिसका behavior थोड़ा unusual है, तो we ask ourselves कि यार ये इतना abnormal है या इसका is that person normal or not? So why is it important to understand what characterizes it as normal and what characterizes it as abnormal? So we interact with people on a daily basis. We interact in social situations and we're a part of a social construct, which is very integral, right? So people around us, a lot of them, or even we ourselves, might be going through some kind of a mental illness. Now, it is important to understand that different people function in a different way. Like all of us don't function like when we come to mental and behavioral and cognitive functioning. So we all function differently, and it is very important to understand that all these different factors, like जैसे कि environmental factor हो या even biological factor हो, तो हमारे सबके genes अलग है, right? So we all have different levels of vulnerabilities to these mental illnesses, and we all have different capacities of handling stress, like for example. So ये सारी जो thresholds रहते हैं, ये capabilities रहती है, ये हर एक individual का अलग अलग रहता है, and it is very important to understand that when another individual, abhi ye koi bhi ho sakta hai, this could be somebody you might have it could be a stranger that you might have interacted with, in a public place like airport ho ya railway station ho ya school ho, office ho, kahin pe bhi. So you might notice something peculiar about them, ki something, maybe their body language or anything, and you might wonder कि should I stay away from this person? Is this person dangerous for me? So बहुत बार ये questions हमारे दिमाग में आते हैं when we interact with someone that we perceive as abnormal. So it is very important to understand कि वो actual में abnormal है या नहीं, कि उसका perception क्या है, उसका situation क्या है, right? So generally क्या होता है कि there are some basic there is a basic framework that is used when you assess somebody's personality, and that framework is what we will be talking about today, right? So वो framework हम कैसे समझ सकते हैं और कैसे use कर सकते हैं. So even ये चीज हमारे loved ones के साथ और हमारे साथ भी हो सकती है. It could happen, and all of us at least once हमने एटलीस्ट एक बार तो किसी के बारे में ऐसा बोला ही होगा, कमेंट किया ही होगा या बिच किया होगा कि यार वो इंसान को देखो थोड़ा पेक्यूलर नहीं है, वो थोड़ा वियर्ड नहीं है, थोड़ा सा नॉर्मल नहीं लग रहा है. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट समबडी इन दैट कॉन्टेक्स्ट, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि उनका वो किस चीज से गुजर रहे हैं, एंड व्हाट इज देयर the first person experience that they are going through. So what are the important things that we need to understand about somebody's behavior or somebody's situation is what Sumati will be talking about कि normalcy और abnormalcy क्या होता है exactly. So Sumati, over to you.
नॉर्मलसी, जब हम ये सवाल ढूंढ रहे हैं कि नॉर्मलसी क्या है और कैसे हम देखते हैं नॉर्मलसी को, सो इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट, जो कुछ मेन पॉइंट है सवाल पूछने के लिए, सबसे पहली चीज़ है कि कौन डिसाइड करता है कि क्या नॉर्मल है और क्या एबनॉर्मल है। कैसे कैसे हम इस नतीजे पे आते हैं कि ये चीज़ नॉर्मल है और ये चीज़ एबनॉर्मल है। सो वो सारी चीज़ें हैं जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे। अभी आगे हम उसी के बारे में बात करेंगे, बट जो इम्पोर्टेंट है वो फिर भी ये पूछना हमेशा इम्पोर्टेंट है कि अगर प्रोफेशनल ही या फिर एक सोसाइटी ही या फिर कहीं कहीं भी कोई भी कुछ ये डिसाइड करते हैं कि ये एबनॉर्मल है, तो वो कौन कर रहा है और कैसे कर रहा है, किस बेसिस पे कर रहा है। सो मूविंग ऑन, दूसरा सवाल जो है कि आज जैसे हम नॉर्मल को देखते हैं, आज जो हमारा कंसेप्शन है नॉर्मल का, क्या वो हमेशा से ऐसा ही था या फिर वो भी बदलता है समय के साथ। और दूसरी चीज़, जो आज हम देखते हैं कि ये नॉर्मल है इस कंटेक्स्ट में, इस कल्चर में, क्या वो कहीं और भी नॉर्मल होगा, या फिर विद इन दिस, लाइक हंसना अपने आप में कोई परेशानी नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप एक फ्यूनरल है या फिर किसी का डेथ सेरेमनी है, वहां पे कोई हंस रहा है, तो वहां पे वो चीज एबनॉर्मल हो जाती है। सो दिस इज द थिंग दैट इज कंटेक्स्ट बिकम्स इम्पोर्टेंट। सो जब हम ये चीजें बात करते हैं, तो इन चीजों का ध्यान रखना और इन चीजों के लिए सोचना भी इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है। दूसरी चीज कि जो अगर हम बात ही करते हैं कि मैल अडेप्टिवनेस इज समथिंग दैट डिफाइंस एबनॉर्मैलिटी। सो ये मैल अडेप्टिवनेस क्या है? अगर फंक्शनिंग एक बंदा एक एनवायरनमेंट में नहीं कर पा रहा है, तो वो क्या फंक्शनिंग है जो वो नहीं कर पा रहा है? किससे हम कंपेयर कर रहे हैं कि ये चीज नॉर्मल है? ये स्टैंडर्ड कहाँ से आया और किसने बनाया? क्या एसेंशियलिटी है कि ये चीजें होनी चाहिए, तब हम नॉर्मली फंक्शन कर पाएंगे। सो ये सारी चीजें समझने के बाद हम ये डिस्कस कर पाए कि क्या नॉर्मल है क्या नहीं है। सो ये सारी चीजें सवाल हैं जो कि अभी भी इतने क्लियर नहीं है कि ये नॉर्मल है, ये एबनॉर्मल है। सो इट्स ऑलवेज ऑनगोइंग प्रोसेस। हम हमेशा अपने आप को या अपने एनवायरनमेंट को सोचने समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। सो दीज आर द थिंग्स जो हमें सवाल हमेशा पूछते रहना है, चाहे किसी भी क्राइटेरिया पे हम पहुंचे या किसी भी एक लेवल तक हम पहुंचे। ठीक है, सो मूविंग ऑन टू द जो बेसिक जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है साइकोलॉजी में, और जो बेसिक फ्रेमवर्क है DSM का, एंड बेसिक जो गाइडलाइंस हैं, और जो मतलब जैसे प्रोफेशनल उसमें हम कैसे बेसिक जो कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं और कैसे क्लासिफाई करते हैं, वो हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। सो सबसे पहला पॉइंट जो है वो डिस्ट्रेस और इमोशनल डिस्ट्रेस और सब्जेक्टिव डिस्कम्फर्ट, जिसके बारे में शिवानी आपको अच्छे से बताएंगी। So yeah, over to Shivani.
Yeah, thank you, Sumati. You mentioned, you addressed this very well. Especially, I like the example where you said कि context बहुत important होता है, right? If you when you do something that is normal in a wrong context, then it can be viewed as abnormal. So there are now, okay, it is important to understand कि ये जो हम framework बोल रहे हैं, so ये normalcy के understanding के लिए है, ये इंडिविजुअल डिसऑर्डर्स के डायग्नोसिस का क्राइटेरिया नहीं है। तो हर एक डिसऑर्डर का, हर एक इलनेस का डायग्नोसिस का अलग अलग क्राइटेरियाज है, जो DSM, जो कि डायग्नोस्टिक एंड स्टैटिस्टिकल मैनुअल है, उसमें लिस्ट डाउन किया हुआ है। सो उसमें से जो बेसिक गाइडलाइंस है, तो वो पहला गाइडलाइन जैसे सुमति ने मेंशन किया है, सोशल नॉर्म डिविएंस। तो हम लोग मैनकाइंड हैज बीन स्टडीइंग ह्यूमन बिहेवियर since many years, and उस स्टडी उस रिसर्च के बेसिस पे एक बेसलाइन ड्रॉ किया है कि ओके दिस सो एंड सो बिहेवियर इज नॉर्मल फॉर सो एंड सो पर्सन फ्रॉम सो एंड सो कम्युनिटी और कल्चर, राइट? So even based on that, we have many laws. Like for example, robbery, murder. These things are not considered acceptable because these things are a huge deviation from what we will consider as healthy for our society, right? So deviance from these standards, you can say the basic morale that has been laid down by us humans, is deviance from that is one of the basic things that we ask, okay, is this deviating? Like you know like for example, when we talk about antisocial personality disorder, जिसको हम lay person की language में psychopathy या sociopathy बोलते हैं, तो वो एक बहुत ही ज्यादा डिवियंस हो गया फ्रॉम अदर नॉर्मल लॉ, मोरल्स और स्टैंडर्ड्स. सो जब ऐसा डिविएशन ऑब्जर्व किया जाता है, देन वी कैन से दैट ओके दिस पर्सन इज showing abnormal behavior. So it is very important to even understand कि deviance कितना है. Is that deviance acceptable or is it not? Now all of us do not behave in every situation in the same way, right? So we all fall somewhere on this spectrum. Now where exactly do we fall, or where exactly does that other person fall? How much are they deviating from this baseline is again something important that we need to understand. So अगेन ये जो डिवियंस होता है ये सिर्फ नेगेटिव नहीं होता है, ये डिवियंस पॉजिटिव भी हो सकता है. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर कोई किसी बच्चे ने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दे दिया अपनी एग्जाम्स में, या फिर मे बी नॉट जस्ट एकेडमिक एग्जाम्स, या किसी सिंगिंग में, डांसिंग में, किसी भी एक्टिविटी में अगर बहुत ही एक्सेप्शनल परफॉर्मेंस दे दिया, बेंचमार्क सेट किया, तो वी से कि अरे दिस इज अ वेरी एक्सेप्शनल थिंग, दिस इज परफेक्ट. So who defines all this? Perfect क्या है, क्या नहीं है, ये इसका एक quantifiable definition कहीं पे भी नहीं है. So when you look at it, it is all, it is a very subjective study. तो ये सब ये सारी comparable चीजें हैं. तो it is very important to understand कि ये deviance desirable भी हो सकता है और undesirable भी हो सकता है. तो deviance क्या है और कितना है, तो वो जानना बहुत ही जरूरी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर लॉ, योर मोरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट, और इवन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द सिचुएशन की सिचुएशन क्या है. सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. द सेकेंड is about the emotional distress, right? So the subjective discomfort.
शिवानी, more on like deviancy में जब हम बात करते हैं, तो deviancy में also like you also mentioned culture और context. इसमें एक और example अगर add करें तो like culture में कैसे different हो सकता है abnormal और normal is in a sense कि if a person prefers nudity, and in some tribes that is something that is considered to be normal, and even in some cultural people also in specific corners of the world that is the normal. And if in a society that insists on wearing clothes as a norm, वहाँ पे अगर कोई nudity insist करे, that is something that will be come out as peculiar or weird or not normal. So that's also something that culture determines कि उसका नॉर्म कैसा है, और उस नॉर्म के हिसाब से फिर डिविएंसी तय होती है. सो ऑल्सो अलोंग द लाइन हमेशा डिविएंसी इज नॉट इक्विवेलेंट टू मेंटल इलनेस और मेंटल डिसऑर्डर. डिविएंसी हम बहुत सारी जगह देखते हैं, जैसे कि शिवानी ने बोला कि देयर इज ऑलवेज अ नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन एंड देयर इज ऑलवेज अ पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन, इन द सेंस कि कुछ चीजें हैं जो हम डिजायरेबल मानते हैं, कुछ चीजें हैं जो हम अनडिजायरेबल मानते हैं. सो जो डिजायरेबल चीजें हैं जो वो डिविएट करे, जैसे कि कोई एक्सेप्शनली बहुत समझदार है, कोई एक्सेप्शनली बहुत तेज है, कोई, तो ये सारी चीजें ये डिविएंसी है. जो ज्यादा डिविएंसी बेसिकली जो सब करते हैं वो ना करें. सो डिविएंसी इन इटसेल्फ कभी इतना ज्यादा मतलब उसमें प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट अगर कोई किसी का डिसरिगार्ड सोसाइटी के नॉर्म से कुछ है ही नहीं, किसी उसका रिगार्ड है ही नहीं सोसाइटी के नॉर्म से, सो दैट इज सीन एज अ थ्रेट टू द सोसाइटी एंड इट्स मोरल वैल्यूज दैट इट एसोसिएट विद. सो दैट्स व्हाई वो बंदा फिर हमें थ्रेट की तरह दिखता है. जैसे कि ऑल्सो दैट लाइक द वन शिवानी मेंशन, लाइक कोई मर्डर है या फिर जिनका सोसाइटी के रूल से या नॉर्म से कोई लेना देना नहीं है या फिर कोई रिगार्ड नहीं है, and that's basically covers the antisocial personalities and the people like sociopaths and psychopaths who have little to do with the societal norms and societal uh, what we say laws.
The morality, yeah.
Morality and laws.
Exactly. So हम लोग जब norms बोलते हैं, so they are not cultural norms, they are basically societal norms जो कि एक proper functioning के लिए important होते हैं. अगर exactly, if you're deviating a cultural norm, then it's not necessarily a disorder or a mental illness. It's just something that, you know, it's a personal preference basically. Yes.
So yeah, moving on to the next criteria or the category that we have is the distress or emotional distress or the subjective discomfort. Yeah. So this is something that that becomes a very much important in diagnosis of a mental disorder. जब हम देखते हैं कि कोई बहुत परेशान है, and it's the suffering part of it, like how they behave and how they function, and they able to cope up with the day-to-day life and even with their own thoughts, and how much of it constitute like an anxiety and depression में जो major component है, that is of suffering. The person is suffering and person is in discomfort. And why we say is subjective is because it depends. The suffering जो part है वो एक इंडिविजुअल का इंट्रिंसिक, वो सिर्फ आपको बता सकता है, आप उसको मेजर नहीं कर सकते कि हाँ इस स्केल पे इतना है या इतना नहीं है. So that is something that is subjective discomfort. So उसका भी दो कंपोनेंट है, एक कंपोनेंट जो आप खुद में फील करते हैं, दूसरा जो सोशल डिस्कम्फर्ट, आप कितना डिस्ट्रेस फील करते हैं. लाइक सोशल एंजाइटी का सबसे जो पार्ट है वो ये है कि सोशल सिचुएशन में दीज पीपल आर प्रीटी एंग्शियस or distressed in a sense. They are not able to converse or have a conversation, and that is something that is, and जो भी चीजें हम बोल रहे हैं उसका एक सेंस में हम लोग देखते होंगे कि अरे ये तो मैंने भी देखा था, अरे ये तो मेरे साथ भी होता है, ये तो बहुत कॉमन है. सो या these are the things that are pretty much common as well, but उसका भी एक एक्सटेंट है और कितने हद तक वो हमारी डे टू डे लाइफ में हमको उतना परेशान नहीं कर रहा. सो या और जब भी हम इनकी बात कर रहे हैं, ये अकेले में या सिर्फ एक, अगर डिस्ट्रेस कंपोनेंट की मैं बात करूँ, वो अपने आप में काफ़ी नहीं है ये बोलने के लिए कि पर्सन को कोई मेंटल डिसऑर्डर है. सो लेकिन अगर डिस्ट्रेस आप एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं या सफरिंग, नॉट इन द सेंस ऑफ फिजिकल बीइंग बट ऑफ द मेंटल डिस्ट्रेस इन द सेंस कि as we see in anxiety, OCD, depression, जो दिमाग में constant thought है जो self destructive है, या constant thought है जो irrational है, in the sense कि we assume कि ये बुरा हुआ मेरे साथ सब बुरा होता है. So अगर मेरा खाना खराब हो गया, इसका मतलब कि अब मेरी जॉब भी जाएगी, मेरे बच्चे भी मुझे छोड़ देंगे, and the sort of generalization that we come to. So it's a pretty much thought of pattern that is also taken care of in therapies, etc. So if there is a suffering, we also recommend to seek professional help and reach out to individuals whom you can talk about or whom you can talk about your mental health. So yeah, that's the second component. Moving on to the third component, Can we have third component? Yeah, maladaptiveness. That's the very important one. Yeah. Over to you, Shivani.
या सो एज यू मेंशन्ड कि जब कोई भी सफरिंग होता है, कोई भी डिस्ट्रेस होता है, तो वो उस एक्सटेंट तक पहुंच जाता है कि इंसान मैल अडेप्टिव बन जाता है। उसके डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज में उसको प्रॉब्लम्स आने लगती है। हुआ कुछ कि खाना जल गया और इधर तक पहुंचे कि मेरी जॉब जल जाएगी, मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गई है। सो that is something that it through no choice of their own somebody goes through, right? तो ये thought patterns हम कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते हैं, एंड हमको पता नहीं है कि हम कैसे कंट्रोल करें या कैसे उस चीज से हम उसको हैंडल करें। तो जब ऐसी चीजें होती है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल सुमति ने सोशल एंजाइटी मेंशन किया, तो कुछ कुछ लोगों को इतना इतना हद तक सोशल एंजाइटी होता है कि वो सोशल सिचुएशंस को एक्चुअली अवॉइड करते हैं। लाइक इट कैन बी एनीथिंग, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल सिटिंग रेस्टोरेंट में खाने गए, खाना पसंद नहीं आया, तो वेटर को बोलने में भी एंजाइटी होती है कि अरे आपका खाना मुझे थोड़ा ऐसा लगा या वैसा लगा। तो एक फीड विच इज नॉट रॉन्ग, यूर जस्ट गिविंग योर फीडबैक, राइट? यू आर द कस्टमर, यूर गिविंग योर फीडबैक। तो वो करने में भी लोगों को एंजाइटी फील होती है। सो पीपल गो थ्रू दीज थिंग्स टू सच एन एक्सटेंट कि उनको अपना बेसिक ओपिनियन, जो हम लोग कुछ लोग इजीली बोल पाते हैं, एक्सप्रेस कर पाते हैं, बट कुछ लोगों को इतना डिफिकल्टी होता है कि वो उस सिचुएशन को ऑल टुगेदर अवॉइड कर देते हैं। तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है कि जैसे कि इवन प्रीवियस एपिसोड में डिस्कस किया था कि मैल अडेप्टिवनेस इट अफेक्ट्स हर इंडिविजुअल के अलग अलग कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं। लाइक जैसे सोशल लाइफ हो गया, तो सोशल लाइफ में अगर ये सारे कंपोनेंट्स में अगर बहुत ज्यादा टॉक्सिक अफेक्ट हो रहा है ये सारी चीजों की वजह से, देन वी कॉल इट मैल अडेप्टिव, कि इट इज हैपनिंग टू यू टू सच एन एक्सटेंट कि इट इज हिंडरिंग योर डे टू डे एक्टिविटीज इन एनी डोमेन ऑफ योर लाइफ। इट कुड बी योर प्रोफेशनल डोमेन, योर social domain, your social life, anything. So that is when something becomes maladaptive, when you're not able, it becomes toxic for yourself, and that is when you need to realize कि अरे मुझे अभी प्रोफेशनल हेल्प लेना चाहिए, मुझे किसी से बात करनी चाहिए ये चीज के बारे में। सो अगेन ये जब ये हमारा फर्स्ट पर्सन पर्सपेक्टिव हो गया, राइट? बट it also comes to your third person point of view कि अगर आप किसी ऐसे, मे बी आपके फ्रेंड सर्कल में कोई ऐसा इंसान है, या फिर आप किसी को मिले जो कि आपको ऐसा लगा कि थोड़ा आपको लगा कि इसको सोशल कॉन्वर्जेशंस में, सोशल सिचुएशंस में उसको अनकंफर्टेबल लगता हो। लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल some people have a difficulty in making eye contact, right? So somebody else might perceive it as abnormal, but we don't think कि उसको कैसा feel होता है। So maybe you might think, if you think about it, if you ask yourself, you might it's possible that you will come to such conclusions. So maladaptiveness is one of the signs कि it is high time that you get help, that you seek therapy. And of course इसका एक along the same line एक next जो criteria है, that is something becoming a threat to yourself, right? So Sumati, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah. So like the extreme component of maladaptiveness basically, as Shivani talked about, हमारा रोज का जो काम है या रोज की जो फंक्शनिंग है, जैसे कि खाना खाना या फिर तैयार होना, अपने जो डे टू डे हमारे जो इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशनशिप है उनको मेंटेन रख पाना, बातचीत कर पाना, तो ये सारी चीजें भी हैं जो जो अगर यहाँ पे सब कुछ ठीक नहीं है तो वो उससे वो भी मेंटेन रख पाना या वो भी कर पाना, it becomes a little bit more difficult, or in many cases, it's in extreme cases, it's a very tedious effect, and person needs assistance from outside to do those tasks as well. So yeah, so it's important, अगर आप ऐसी चीजें भी कहीं पे अर्ली स्टेज पे देखते हैं, so please seek professional help, and जितना जल्दी सपोर्ट मिल जाए उतनी जल्दी इन चीजों से बेटर हैंडल किया जा सकता है, वरना वो सफरिंग बढ़ती जाएगी, वो सफरिंग का एंड सीधा extreme steps like self injury or injury to others. That is the thing that it leads to. So it's important to recognize these signs, recognize these small like we always uh, take action when it reaches an extreme. So the extreme is that of a person becoming threat to themselves, in the sense हम बहुत सारे disorders में there is a tendency to self harm, to take the control that they have lost over their actions, their behavior, their lives. So that's also a thought. And in cases of depression, the constant defeating thoughts and self-destructive thoughts, and that spiral that person keeps on going down and down, so that leads to their increased vulnerability to suicide. And also the harm to others in cases where we are so frustrated, we are so um, volatile that we may pose a threat to others. And it's always advisable to reach out to always advisable to even the hotlines that we will also be sharing with this webinar. Please reach out to these hotlines if you see your friend or yourself or your any stranger going through that. Please recommend them these guidelines or recommend them these hotlines that are there, and ask them to seek professional help. Okay, so yeah, that pretty much covers what all we have in the third criteria. And also an important point that all disorder does not include this component of like harm to others or harm to themselves as well. Some disorders are merely just disorder of maladaptiveness, and they don't possess a threat, as we always assume that a person suffering from a mental disorder is a threat to a society. That's not the case every time. It's as we also said, these guidelines are not a criteria to classify a particular disorder, but in general these are the things that we see if we say that, oh, this is not normal or this is abnormal and we should seek for help. So yeah, that's it. What are the causes of maladaptive behavior? uh, that's a pretty much vast area to like. There's always two things: firstly the environment and the genes, and it's also always a mix up of two. We can discuss upon the causes of mental disorders and how they develop or how they occur in detail in the next sessions. But it's always some part of it is we all matlab, there's always some kind of vulnerability that is there in the genes or in the DNA, that is always there. And this, but it always requires a threshold, and that threshold is something that provided, that is present in the environment, the stress or the when the situations provide that threshold, that the disorder may manifest itself in the form of extreme extreme in its extreme form. So yeah, there is predisposition, always a predisposition in genetic form, but there always environment always has a role to play to that as well. So yeah, that's how the maladaptive behavior also develops. It's pretty much very common, and its mental disorders are also very common, and there is nothing to like stigmatize or otherize these people. These things are that can pretty much happen with our loved ones, ourselves, and that's pretty much normal. It's it's the new like disorders are also that common that they can be said to be normal.
Yeah, we along the lines of that, we have another question that as seeking assistance from outside is seen as a failure. Any comment on that? So, as Sumati mentioned, that disorders are actually very common, but the problem is that they don't get diagnosed, right? So,
Yeah.
when what happens when they don't get diagnosed, people don't get aware of it, and many a times it happens कि मुझे कुछ हो रहा है, I'm going through something, but even I'm not aware कि okay, this is something that I need help for, because awareness ही नहीं है. It's like a vicious cycle. And also another reason is कि थेरेपी को लेके बहुत सारे स्टिग्मा, स्टीरियोटाइप्स, बहुत कुछ एसोसिएटेड है. यू नो, अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स इट हैपेंस कि जो लोग को मेंटल डिसऑर्डर होता है, एंड इवन जो लोग अवेयर होते हैं उसके बारे में, उनको भी वो, उनके लिए भी वो चीज एक्सप्रेस कर पाना बहुत ही डिफिकल्ट होता है. तो थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाने के लिए वो हेसिटेट करते हैं, वो सोचते हैं कि आई विल बी जज्ड, या फिर यू नो समथिंग लाइक दैट. और यू नो इट इवन हैपेंस कि अगर मैं थेरेपिस्ट के पास जा रही हूँ, तो मुझे अपने फ्रेंड्स को या फैमिली को बोलने में शायद शर्म आ रही होगी कि वो लोग मुझे पागल कंसिडर करेंगे, या दे विल कंसिडर मी एज एबनॉर्मल और माई बिहेवियर एज एबनॉर्मल. तो ये सारा स्टिग्मा की वजह से. एंड अगेन और भी क्राइटेरिया होते हैं कि फाइनेंशियल का, यू नो, फाइनेंशियली some people are not able to you know afford, या जो भी है, but उसके लिए also there are some you know hotlines, as Sumati mentioned, कि a lot of them are even free. So it is very important कि as soon as we ourselves identify these red flags कि कुछ तो you know हो रहा है, which you're not able to handle. It could be anything, you know. You don't have to think कि ऐसे silly reason की वजह से मैं क्यों जाऊं. I'll handle it myself. It is a sporty spirit. It is not bad, but you need to understand where your limit is and where you need help. So as soon as you realize that, it is very important that you seek therapy. A lot of professional therapists are happy to help their clients if they're undergoing some financial problems. So, you know, that kind of a healthy interaction or a relationship with your therapist, or even the various hotlines that we will be sharing with this webinar, are very helpful. So, basically, यही reason होता है जो stigma है, which we are hoping कि हम वो stigma और उस stereotypes को भी address करें future sessions में. So yeah, that is one of the major reasons why people are not able to seek therapy, and people end up not getting diagnosed. And whatever they're going through, it kind of normalizes in their life or in their routine. So sadly, that does happen a lot. Sumati, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, also like the stigma. What is the stigma? That's basically like हमें सब कुछ खुद हैंडल करना है. This is the problem that I shouldn't be talking about. और इसके बारे में तो सिर्फ लड़कियां बात करती हैं. I can't, like, even the stresses in, if we talk about adolescents and the competition and the hustle culture that is there. So basically, it's like you have to get through this emotional struggle to achieve something. So what is important here to emphasize is that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek for advice, and we can do so much so if we have this community support and support. If we can do this much with our own, then we can probably do much more with the help of the support or this safety net that is important. Yeah. Yeah, I call question. Any questions?
Yes, there is one.
Normalize.
How
Any suggestions or thought on how, as a society, we can normalize seeking outside help? How is it different from talking to family and friends about our problem? Outside help. Okay, professional help. Like, it means professional help, right? Outside help.
yes, how seeking professional help is different from talking to your family and friends? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, if we talk about in the context of India, so yeah, there comes a line where we prefer going to some miracle solution or some शादी करा दो सब सारी प्रॉब्लम ठीक हो जाएगी. Basically, ब्राह्मण फैमिली में हर प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन यही है, जितना स्ट्रेस है या जितना फ्रस्ट्रेशन है सब खत्म हो जाएगा शादी करा दो. या फिर एक बार इंजीनियरिंग कर लेता तो इतनी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, या फिर ये कर लेते तो इतनी दिक्कतें नहीं होती. दैट्स नॉट हाउ इट वर्क्स. एंड ऑल्सो द culture that is there of the profession and the like pressure around it to do engineering, or for girls to do doctorate or the science के लिए जो इतना ज़्यादा pressure है, and because of that the loop of like even the people within this background are doing it. Some people are doing it just for the sake of like fulfilling the expectations that are around them, and that's also creates a cycle where they feel themselves like this is what this is what everybody told me that should give me happiness, and when I'm it, I don't have it. I don't it's so why am I not happy? Am I okay? Am I all right? This was supposed to give me happiness, so why is it not there? So yeah, so it's always like we have to normalize certain extents, and we have to normalize seeking professional help. Why? Because, and how can we do that? Its first step is that it's okay to seek therapy, and as I also mentioned earlier also, therapy is something that isn't only for exceptional cases. Even in exceptional cases, or even in severe extreme mental disorders, therapy does little work. The therapy is basically for seeking all kinds of help, counseling, and support. If you feel like you are struggling, and if you feel like there is so much of which you can't decipher, and the pandemic is something that provides a threshold for all the mental health problems and issues. So yeah, so therapy is something that is probably for everyone, and we shouldn't be like talk to your family member, talk to make them understand that this is how you feel, and this is even in cases like I have seen that parents might not understand that how the mental health works. Talk to them, at least try. If that's not working out, you can always reach out certain helplines and certain hotlines, and you can reach out even for the assistance that how you should proceed, and how you should be like even मैंने ऐसा भी देखा है जैसे कि अगर कुछ लोग एक थेरेपिस्ट को ट्राई करते हैं एंड दैट डजंट वर्क आउट, सो दे ड्रॉप द आइडिया. इट्स ऑल्सो लाइक इस प्रोफेशन की कॉम्पिटेंस भी उस पर ही डिपेंड करती है, एज गुड एज द थेरेपिस्ट इज. सो ऑलवेज बी ओपन टू ट्राइंग आउट डिफरेंट थेरेपिस्ट एज वेल. सो सबका अपना अपना फ्रेमवर्क होता है. देयर इज ऑल्सो द स्कूल ऑफ थॉट्स दैट some therapists follow. So it's always like what works best for you, and what provides help to you, and if it doesn't work for you for the first time, don't be afraid to reach out the second time or the third time. It's always like therapy can literally save lives, so please don't shy away. And I can understand the inaccessibility and the affordability issues, and even the system in itself at time like this is overloaded. We don't have the psychologist as much as the demand of the population, so that's a very severe concern. But still we can even with the hotlines, and even with the so much so we can do, we should reach out. Yeah, Shivani, you would like
Yeah,
to?
I would like to add that why it is different when you go to a therapist is because when you talk to your family member, or when you talk to your friends, generally what you listen to, what you'll come across is that they'll keep giving you these repetitive replies ki ye sabke sath hota hai, this is a normal thing, or something like that. So when you go to a therapist is trained, and अलग अलग थेरेपी टेक्निक्स होती है, मेथड्स होती है. तो जो प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं दे आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ठीक है ये सारे ट्रिगरिंग फैक्टर्स है, या फिर ये सारे सारे पॉसिबल कॉजेस हो सकते हैं. सो अ थेरेपिस्ट इज एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस, एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली इट इज अ गुड, दिस इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग कि जैसे generations पास ऑन हो रहे हैं तो द perception about mental health, the perception about psychology is changing a lot. Like for example, previous generations में जैसे maybe your parents or your grandparents, उनको लगता है कि depression, anxiety ये सारी चीजें they are a myth. You know, I was having an interesting conversation with this one person, and he said that uh, पुराने ज़माने में स्ट्रगल्स अलग होते थे, अभी जो मिलेनियल्स के स्ट्रगल्स होते हैं वो अलग होते हैं। सो यू नो मेंटल हेल्थ वाज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज अ स्ट्रगल एज सच बैक देन। बैक देन दे हैड दीज मटेरियलिस्टिक, वी कैन इफ यू वुड लाइक टू कॉल दैट, बट ये टाइप के स्ट्रगल्स होते हैं कि फाइनेंशियल स्ट्रगल है, ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। तो ये सारी चीजों में इतने खोए रहते थे कि ये सब चीजें इट वाज लाइक नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट टू देम, इट वाज नॉट समथिंग टू overthink about, or it was not given much importance. But as the time has passed, मेंटल हेल्थ को काफी रिकग्निशन मिल रहा है, काफी एक्नॉलेज कर रहे हैं कि इट इज ऑल्सो इक्वली इम्पोर्टेंट। सो इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जब आप किसी फ्रेंड को या फैमिली मेंबर को अप्रोच कर रहे हो तो उनका परसेप्शन कैसा है ये चीजों के बारे में, वो ध्यान में रख के आप अप्रोच करिए। एज सुमति मेंशन कि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि पेरेंट्स समझ नहीं पाते हैं, या कोई और रिलेटिव्स है या फ्रेंड्स है समझ नहीं पाते हैं, तो उनको समझाना पड़ता है। सो उन केसेस में देन इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज फिर क्या होता है कि यू फील डिसहार्टेंड कि मुझे कोई सुनता नहीं है, कोई मुझे समझता नहीं है। सो it is very important that you seek therapy for that. And again, how can we normalize it? I think if you feel that it is not, people are not aware about it in your household, then you can start talking about it. There are a lot of things that are considered as a taboo or a stigma, Indian society mein especially. So having healthy conversations about it is very, very important. सो दैट इज वन वे कि जैसे कैसे नॉर्मलाइज कर सकते हैं। बाकी तो यू हैव दीज इंस्टीट्यूट, स्कूल्स है, ये वो, तो उसमें भी क्लासेस कैन बी कंडक्टेड, सेशंस कैन बी कंडक्टेड। सो बहुत सारे चीजें हैं जो हो सकती है, जो करनी चाहिए। बट अगर हम एक पर्सनल लेवल पे देखें तो टॉकिंग अबाउट इट इन अ हेल्दी मैनर इज the best thing that we can do to normalize mental health and normalize seeking therapy. So yeah, that is just what I wanted to add.
Yeah, or society normalize in a society, that's also a process. Like we are growing through it. It's not that easy as it, because आज तक बात ही नहीं की इसके बारे में, और एकदम से ये normalize हो जाए कि wow, seeking help is as normal as conversing. Like it's, I have seen like therapists, and even in the humor or jokes भी आजकल मैं देखती हूँ, मतलब like having a conversation with a therapist has become the something that is normalized, and it's like it's good to see that, but again it's a process. So yeah, as a society we need to have more better understanding of mental health, better understanding of disorders, and this conversation about mental health becomes important to normalize seeking help in the first place. And it's also a process, so it will gradually develop, and even like a webinar like this does help to an extent, creating that sort of awareness. And we need to work deeper on, as Shivani also mentioned, sorry, best ways to approach the children. They are the future, and they are the like where we can instill changes that we want to see in the future. So yeah, so working on the curriculums and instilling sensitive workshops for it, gender sensitization about mental health, these things become important, and we need to work in that direction as well.
Yeah, I would like to give like an add by giving an example. कि as Sumati mentioned that this is a continuous ongoing process. So जो DSM है, जो Diagnostic and Statistical Manual है, जो कि American Psychological Association के अंडर आता है, they regulate it. तो उसमें ये सारे disorders and उनका diagnosis and symptoms list out होते हैं. So homosexuality was actually considered as a disorder and as a deviance. So over the time, what happened was now it is rephrased, and it is not considered as a disorder as such. because the understanding of gender identity and the entire spectrum of gender has improved a lot over the time. The other genders, non-binary genders, are also getting the recognition. They are getting accepted in many societies now. So ये एक example है कि uh, something so subjective is not a black or white concept. ये एक पूरा spectrum होता है. So even mental health is like that. So it is not a very quantifiable thing, right? तो ये जो एक understanding है, ये it is an ongoing thing, and it is very important that we make our contribution at least in our personal life. So, yeah, we have a question. What are the effects of humor and laughter on physical and mental health? Okay, so physical health का तो हम आपको ज़्यादा बता नहीं पाएंगे because we are not doctors. But as far as mental health is concerned, I think humor and laughter really depends what side you are on, whether you're on the receiving side or not. So, yeah, it is
Also,
important.
like a thought, there is a difference between laughing and actually being happy. So yeah,
Yeah,
authentic
yes,
happiness, like laughing all day. Like I also mentioned in this beginning of the session, like हंसना अपने आप में एक अच्छी चीज हम देखते हैं as a positive connotation, but हंसना अगर वही आपका एक कंटेक्स्ट डिफरेंट में डाल दो तो वो एबनॉर्मल लगता है. सो हंसना इज अ इमोशन एज अ मेंटल हेल्थ, एंड it also releases like neurotransmitters like dopamine or etc, which lack in the case of depression. There is
yes.
lack of hormones like dopamine, sorry, hormone neurotransmitter like dopamine. So yeah, so laughter does has an effect, but it needs to be authentic. It needs to be humor, needs to be authentic, and it's actually not forced. And in today's time, the pressure that we experience of being constantly happy and constantly being like, it's also okay to be sad, and there's nothing wrong with taking a time to just go through the emotions that you are feeling. It's not necessary to be always happy, but at the same time, happiness does has its effect. If this sadness is something that you see that it's a phase that is so long that you don't feel like even getting up or doing things, so it's a sign that you should seek help or you should seek professionals. So yeah, laughter is a medicine, but it needs to be authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, also, if you feel happy a lot, then that is really good for you. And we hope that's the case for everybody. Also, if you are like, it really depends on how appreciative you are of the little things. Because a lot of this depends on what kind of perception you have towards things, right? So अगर एक pessimistic इंसान है तो उसका perception अलग होगा, एक optimistic इंसान है तो उसका perception अलग होगा. So it really depends on how authentic it is, and it really depends on your perception. So उसके basis पे आपका self esteem, self worth, self concept, आपका confidence, ये सारी चीजें affect होती है in a positive or a negative way depending on how you feel. So yeah, that is again depends on various factors as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So do we have another question? Yeah. Also, as Rima also mentioned, like there's a case of a person who says that like society is pathological. What would you say like in a case like we see that surroundings are itself not normal, so how can we be normal?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question.
and 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 it's
Yeah,
unfit for our mental health. Yeah, that's the exactly the point, and that's the thing that we also discuss about, like how mental health is not an individual thing. It's not an individual responsibility as much as it's a societal uh, responsibility, and it stems out of the justices and injustices within a society. So yeah, so to like take the case of homosexuality, that is something that was considered as abnormal, that is something that was considered as pathological in DSM as well, and even like uh, yeah, I forgot the disorder. Okay, so leave it. Yeah. So even the homosexuality thing, it's not about like individual being in distress. Why is that distress present in the first place? Because instead of the acceptance, what he or she or them has received is the sort of
The pressure
pressure to confirm.
to
Yeah.
yeah,
So and judgment and discrimination, so these are the things that bear the ground for mental illness, and that's the thing that we also need to take into consideration as a society, how much of a society is cognizant of our mental health. And when we talk of mental health, and this episode that we also did as a social justice issue, that should be also a priority, like how does it affect a certain policy or certain move affects the mental health of an individual, and does we have uh, enough laws for that, or enough backing for that. Yeah, we have another question. Yeah, I think it's the time we can conclude it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I think we can conclude by saying that normalcy or abnormalcy does not really define a disorder or does not define a mental illness that any individual is going through. And it is not a very well and clearly laid out framework. It is still something that it is still under the process of being understood. And it is important that when on a daily basis, when you tag somebody as normal or abnormal, it there are chances that 99.99% chances that it is a very incorrect label or tag that you're giving to an individual, right? So normalcy and abnormalcy is really depending on what extent you're going through something, and how deviating or how maladaptive it is, right? So that really depends, that really decides whether you really need help, or whether you really, whether what you're going through is how toxic is it for you, or how toxic is it is for your environment. And also, when we say that somebody has a mental illness, or the vulnerability to the mental illness, it is both genetic, it has both genetic predisposition, and it has various environmental factors that are the triggers. So it is important to understand that we are all social beings, and we are a part of a social construct. So when an individual is going through something, it is not just that individual's problem. It is because of a societal factor, or a larger factor that contributes to that. So yes, it is true that society can be pathological. It is pathological in many situations. And whenever, if you come across somebody who you feel is abnormal, try to understand why is it that you feel that way, or what is it that they are actually going through. And if you are somebody who's going through something like that, then please seek help. Please talk to somebody who you feel safe talking to. And yeah, I think, Sumati, would you like to add anything to that?
This goes out like to the in a second person conversation. If we see someone like who is suffering and who is, it's always preferable to ask the person if you want me to listen to you or you want me to provide solution. If you're looking to vent your emotions or vent whatever you're feeling through, or do you want me to provide solution? And often at times we make this mistake, like also the question, what is the difference between seeking professional help and talking to our close circle people or our loved ones, say. So it's only the difference that a professional is equipped with tools to help you. Every individual is not. So it's always advisable to go for a professional help. But when that is not there, even if you're talking to someone, it's just, if you just listen to the person, that would be enough of a person to feel better in that moment and to get past through that. So yeah, that's. And also, we will be back with another interesting topic in the next session. We will be coming back on Monday, me and Shivani. So yeah, please also come visit us and learn something, and also make us learn and present something new to you. Okay, so we'll see you on Monday next week. So bye bye. And also please stay and watch the video after this. It's a small video by Empower People. We hope you just stay and watch this before leaving. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Almost all of us want to do something for the larger society and try to give back to our people. But we all have limitations. We see and feel for people in difficult circumstances, and we also know that the lives of people living in extreme poverty and in difficult conditions are inevitably bound with our own lives and identities. Let's come together, speak your mind, share your ideas, and together we can work to improve the lives of people in need. Join us for online meetings. Let's discuss and plan the way forward. As shall you use your expertise, so shall others, and together we can truly make a difference. Our target is to rescue women in slavery. Women who are bought and sold like products in the market for the purpose of marriage. Women who are then mistreated and abandoned to their own devices due to lack of support from the family, the community, and society at large. They constitute a new generation of the oppressed. A denial of their basic human rights is the biggest threat to our development and sustainability as a species. As a first step, simply come and register at our website www.empowerpeople.in. Our team will get in touch with you. We look forward to seeing you join hands, hearts and minds with us. Add in your bit to keep the flame of compassion, service and humanity alive.